Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me okay? Just want to make sure the way I have my microphone set up that we're good to go. We have Tim just hanging tight. He's waiting for a call from us. So I just want to make sure we're working out all these audio kinks real quick, and then we'll get going. Welcome back to Members Only, Indy. Good to have you back. Mindy says, I'm excited for this one. He's from Northern Indiana, so I'm certain he's familiar with Delphi, Sofer, and others unsolved in this part of the state. He was not familiar with Sofer, but I sent him some information on it. And he was familiar with Delphi. But you got to remember, the only reason we even knew about Jordan Sofer was because of the Delphi case and its possible connections. Hey, Mustang. Return the Diamonds. Shout out to Return the Diamonds for gifting some memberships. That was awesome of you. Hey, Jinx. Good to see you. All right. So we'll give them a call about 5 after. I want to give everybody an opportunity to join the chat. How's my audio? Can you guys hear me okay? Testing, testing. Sounds great. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Welcome, welcome. Louise Markham. Glad you made it. CJK, hello. I'm feeling wonderful. I hope you guys are having a great day. Thank you, D. I appreciate the input and the feedback. Thank you so much. Susan, hello. Hi, Sleuth. Been out of commission for a while, coming back strong. Good. Good to have you back. What doesn't kill us only makes us stronger. Thank you, Jinx. Yeah, if you guys could hit the thumbs up, that would be wonderful. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. What's going on over there on your side of the world? You guys staying chill? So today we will be talking with cold case expert Tim Corbett. Let me go ahead and put his info down here at the bottom because he is active. There we go. That's his website there, coldcaseexperts.com, and you can give him a text or a call if you want to see if there's a way he can help you with a cold case, something that's going on along those lines. And I'm sure he'll give us more information here in a minute. Hold on, guys. Hey, Miracle. Grunge Truck, how you doing? Oh, you lucked out, huh? Wow, good for you. All right, looks like the room is filling up quickly. Hey, Microwave. Good to see you. Microwave and Baby Doll. Olivia, Nana72. Miracle Hearts. Carrie Ann, what's up? Tina Baldwin. Miss Thang. All right, let's go ahead and give him a call. Can you guys hear that okay?
Hello.
Hello, Tim. This is Patrick. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel, man. I appreciate you giving us your time again.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
All right. I just want to work out some quick audio kinks. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear you okay.
Okay.
Guys in the chat, can you hear Tim Corbett? So I'm just waiting to hear on some feedback, and then we'll dive right in.
Okay.
How's your day going?
Long today. I had court at 10:30 this morning, which never means 10:30. I didn't get on the stand till 3:00, but we did well. I'm confident in what happened. Had a former informant that turned on us and made up a bunch of lies, so we promptly handed him his butt.
So what happened there? Are you able to tell us?
Well, it was a guy that informed on several homicides. He would call because he's just a little short dude. We call him Short Round, and people would just talk to him. They just gravitate towards him. He'd been in trouble before, and hey man, here's what I did. Here's how I did it, and he would immediately call us up. We had a guy that beat an elderly lady to death with a table leg because he had his music up, and she went over and knocked on the door and said, "Hey, would you mind turning your music down?" So, of course, the proper response is to kill her, right? So the informant was in a cell right next to him, and the guy just laid the whole story out. And the informant called me and said, "Hey, did this guy go next door to a restaurant and buy a cheeseburger and fries, and you guys found it in the microwave?" Check. Absolutely. Did he beat her with a table leg off of a this color table? Check. Yeah, he did. He just ran the whole thing down. And, of course, he got some help on his case. But then after he got out, he turned around and got stupid again and went to a local store, got an ID card, went out to his car, jumped in his car, drove to a gas station, and promptly drove off with some gas. Well,
Jeez.
just because you helped before doesn't mean you have a carte blanche to be stupid. And I recognized the ID and said, "This is who the guy is." Well, he ended up going back to prison because of his own stupidity. And he got pissed at me because he thought I should lie for him and do all sorts of things. And I tell these idiots all the time, not going to prison with you or for you. You do something, it's going to happen. That's all there is to it. So he got in contact with another informant of mine that he didn't know was an informant of mine and said, "Here's what I'm going to do to Tim Corbett in an attorney." So he tried pulling it, and today was a bad day for him. He had to end up pleading the fifth, because if he got up on the stand and said, "Hey, I lied when I gave testimony," now he's looking at a perjury case.
Oh, great. So he's such a blabbermouth. He got caught talking to another blabbermouth, huh?
Here's the deal. I got to be honest with you. In my 48 years, I've talked to thousands of people, and I've talked to thousands of suspects, and I've been told, "F you, I'm not going to talk." Okay. Out of the people that have said that, I may have had 4 or 5 that really, after they said that, did not talk. Now, a lot of them will talk tough, but when they start finding out they're going to be spooning with a bunkmate for the next 60 years and enjoying the pleasures of, your being turned into a playground or whatever. They want to get on Team America. And, a couple of the guys said, I'm not going to talk, screw you. And one guy got 70 years and the other guy got 65. So, okay, you really taught me a lesson, right? Like, you won that game. So, it's just truly about, how you talk to people and how you treat them. And you come at people from a position of honesty. Here's what I can do. Here's what I can't do. And you just go from there. And I'm not going to beg you. If you want to talk, I'm willing to listen. But if you think I'm going to be cutting your toenails and kissing your ass to get you to do something, you got the wrong boy.
Last time we talked, Tim, it was a members only. It was a more kind of casual, intimate conversation, small group of people. They were able to get some questions. And now we have a room that's just climbing. We're at about anywhere between 75 and 100 now. Are you okay with kind of going over your experience again?
Sure.
For the new listeners?
Okay. Yeah. Well, my experience is I'm in my 48th year. I put over 400 people in prison for just murders. That doesn't count rapists, burglars, armed robbers, and the other litany of people that are out there. I've trained in excess of 10,000 police officers in my career, and handcuffing, self-defense, coup baton, side hand baton, straight baton, high-risk warrant service, SWAT tactics, self-defense, hostage rescue. I was on SWAT for 20 years. I was commander for several of those years, or a team leader. I'm still presently doing cold case homicides. In fact, we just had a press conference last week on a 42-year-old homicide that we solved of a 15-year-old girl.
Shelly Werner.
Shelly Werner, that's the one.
Yeah, that's all over the true. That's all over the true crime social network sites that cover it. So it's kind of a big deal, and it was kind of a coincidence that I reached out to you, and then you guys were working on that case. So great job on that. Yeah,
I'll tell you, it's always a team effort, and I don't want anybody to think on this podcast when I'm talking, Tim Corbett's going to the Policeman Hall of Fame, or I'm looking for trophies or anything like that. It's always when I say I'm saying the part that I played. I do my eyepiece. You, Patrick, the forensic pathologist, you do your piece. And everybody in the link, if they have to look at themselves as an I, and as long as I do my part and we connect it all, it's a we game. And, you got to want to win. And you don't look at how tired you are. You don't look at the hours that you put in. You have somebody that's been killed, and you have a family and friends that are struggling to understand why. And, it's that old saying in homicide, we work for God. And there's a lot of truth to that. Now, he's in a different place and he's on the bench. So they send people like us to go take care of the problem. And you got to want to win. You got to want to push. And, you get tired and you get a little cat nap and you get hungry and you have an eyedropper full of water and a saltine cracker and you keep going.
What's the leading cause of a cold case? How does that happen?
The leading cause of why it ends up being a cold case?
Yeah. Like what would cause that?
Well, first off, cold case is a term everybody knows. I hate that term. I use unsolved, but for the sake of, everybody else, cold case. The cause of it is maybe you have people that don't talk. Maybe you have officers that don't work as hard as what they should, because let's be honest about it. There are some lazy cops. There are some cops that do bad things, and no good cop wants those people around. But having said that, the 99+% that I've been around want to do the job. Honest people. They have a different career course than what that person, this person has. But the leading cause, in my opinion, is sometimes cops are overwhelmed, especially in some of the bigger cities where, you get a homicide right now, 3 hours killed 10 hours after that. Somebody else has been killed. And these are the type of cases you can't give it a hit lick and a promise. You gotta stay in people's ears. You gotta talk to people. You gotta get out there. So that's one of the reasons. Now, with all the idiot politicians, saying systemic racism and, get rid of cops and defund and all that stuff, you couldn't have picked a better subject to do than what we're just now talking about. You kill somebody and there's not enough policemen on the street to be able to handle a lot of the things. And if I'm a bad guy, what a great deal. Do I want cops defunded? Yeah, hell yeah. Do I want less cops? Hell yeah. Why? Because it makes my criminal career that much easier to do. Low bonds or no bonds. We're in St. Joseph County, Indiana, and our bonds suck. I mean, there's people getting caught in stolen cars and they're walked in the front door of the county jail, fingerprinted, photographed, powder their ass and send them right out the front door. All you've done is positive, negative reinforcement. You have just told a bad guy it's okay to do bad things because really nothing's going to happen to you. And it just makes people think that they can do more and more and more. Much like what they do in schools now. We don't kick kids out. We don't expel them. We don't corporal punish. We don't do anything. We just tell them what a bad life they have and go read a book about, CRT or transgender. And I know you're 7 years old and you're trying to make up your mind whether you have a penis or you don't. It's just so many ways that these kids are being approached with positive, negative reinforcement that no matter what you do or say, we're not going to do anything to you. And it emboldens them to continue on with that process. And when it's reinforced by, stupid parents or a stupid parent that, doesn't stay in their kids' lives, Facebook, we just had an 11-year-old kid killed here about, 2 weeks ago. 11 years old, shot.
That's terrible.
Well, you know what? And here's the thing. You get these broke down, supposed community activists, and it's the same crap all the time. We got to stop the violence. What's your plan? We need to stop the violence. What's your plan? We need to stop the violence, and we need to get the community involved. What's your plan? You don't have a plan, but there's a camera face on there, and you want to act like you really want to solve the problem, but you don't have the courage to say what really needs to be said. You don't have the courage to do what really needs to be done. You just want to sound good. And again, you never met a camera that you didn't love, so you got to show up and act like you care. And as soon as the cameras are turned off, you're going, this stuff isn't that hard. It's really not.
Can you tell us a little bit about your time with SWAT? That sounds very interesting.
Well, it was, it's that old saying, when people are in trouble, they call cops, and cops are in trouble, they call SWAT. And of course, that progressed over the years, and, they didn't want to call it SWAT anymore because that stood for Special Weapons and Tactics. That just, oh God, that makes me feel bad. They have to use special weapons and tactics. Yeah, I'm sorry, Pumpkin and my little snowflake, but you're a hostage. You're going to want some meat eaters coming through that door to save you. You don't want, Pee Wee Herman and Petey Buttigieg or somebody like that coming in and, I'm going to hit you with my purse or whatever. It was a lot of training, a lot of psychological things, a lot of preparation. Cops are very good at training their bodies from the shoulders down, big arms, big chest, a bench this and do that, but they forget about the shoulders up. And you have to be wired real hard to be able to do that job, to prepare for that, because there is an eventuality that you may have to take a life. There's an eventuality that your life may be taken. So,
well, how do you prepare for that? I mean,
I'm sorry?
How would you prepare for that, knowing that?
Well, I don't know if you're ever completely prepared for it. I know when I was team leader and commander, we would be about a minute out from the scene, and we're going to go, we're going to hit a home, whatever it is, hostage rescue, whatever. And I would tell the guys, and we had all men then, and I didn't care what your pigmentation or your plumbing was or is. I don't care now. Just be able to do the job. But I am not going to be politically correct and fashionable by picking you because I need a certain flavor of the week to be cool. That's not happening. I'm going to pick the best because I have to put my life in your hands. You have to put your life in my hands, and you have to expect whoever comes through that door to protect you and your family is going to be top notch, not politically correct. So I would always tell the guys, minute out, say a quick prayer, get your minds right, 13 in, 13 out, or 15 in, 15 out, depending on how many people we had. And you could see the game face. I mean, this guys knew this stuff was for real. This wasn't play stuff. And until you've been involved in a shooting, you think, with all my training, I can do it. I hope I never have to, but I think I can. You don't know until you press that trigger, whether you can or you can't. You survive that. Now, can you survive the aftermath? Can you live with the fact that you press that trigger and you're the person that killed that guy? You stopped him. You eliminated the threat.
Because I'm sure you've seen some horrible scenes there that you're trying to prevent, right?
Well, I've handled over 1,000 deaths, so there's not a death that I haven't seen. Babies, elderly, whatever you can think of, I've seen it, I've experienced it. But when it's just you, and you're the only one that fired, you can't look at the other people that are on the line with you, or maybe you're in the service and everybody fired, and I can blame you, you can blame me, somebody else can blame some. When you press that trigger and you send that round down range and you stop somebody, you have to know that you were right, you were prepared, you explain it correctly, and you can live with the aftermath. I've handled 7 police officers' death, people that I know that were murdered.
Sorry to hear that.
One minute you're eating lunch with them or you're in roll call, and the next minute you're standing over their body. And if you're not mentally tough, I'm not saying not caring or anything like that, but if you're not mentally tough, these SOBs on the street, they win. They beat you. They've driven you into the ground to where you're a bad dad, you're drinking too much, you have sleepless nights, you're whatever, drugs, any of that kind of stuff. They win. So they not only took that officer's life, they took your life. And maybe you, that officer, are ruining other people's lives because you can't handle it. I can only tell you from my experiences, and I have been in shootings and I have taken lives. And I don't mean that. Please understand, this isn't bragging. This isn't, because that's not something you brag about, but it's a fact. And you have to be strong enough to be and continue on with your life. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to.
And some of these bad guys are probably pretty good, right? Maybe even quick, know their weapons and things like that. So you really got to be prepared.
Well, you got to think about it. By scientific proof, you're already a third of a second behind the curve. Even if I have my gun pointed at you, I wish I was on video, because I would have everybody point their finger at me, and I would say, I got a gun down by my side, just down by my side. I haven't pointed it at you. When you see me move, shoot. The average person, even some puss gut, that hasn't seen their feet in 10 years, can bring that gun up so quickly and fire around. And the only thing you're going to be able to do is go, oh, shit, this is going to hurt, because you see it coming. You're a third of a second behind. And many times, and I've asked people this, if you have a gun, if you had a gun down by your side, or I had a gun down by my side, and you got your gun pointed at me, could you legally shoot me? I mean, this is a question for all your viewers. Could you legally shoot me? I got a gun down by my side. I haven't pointed it at you, but I got a gun down by my side. Could you legally shoot me?
All right, let's see what they say. I'll let you know what they say.
Okay. Here's I won't give you the answer because I don't want anybody to ever come back and say, yeah, Tim Corbett said, if you got a gun, I can shoot you. That's not what I'm saying. The person has means, opportunity, jeopardy, imminent danger, and preclusion. Means, I have the gun. I have the weapons delivery, right? So means, opportunity, you're here, I'm here, I've got a gun.
They're
Means,
saying no.
opportunity,
They're saying no.
jeopardy. I'm sorry?
They're saying no. Some are saying yes and some are saying no.
Okay. So the means, opportunity, jeopardy, I'm here, you're here, means, opportunity, jeopardy, imminent danger. It's right now. It wasn't a week ago and you just arrived here now. So means, opportunity, jeopardy, imminent danger, and preclusion. I am predisposed to have that weapon. So having said that, knowing that you're a third of a second behind the curve, I have that gun and I pull it up real quick. I think after people hear this, they may have a change of heart. Maybe. I don't know. But those are the things that officers run into, and nobody ever tells you, officer, I have a gun and I am about ready to kill you. It goes from hi, how are you to a shootout. It can happen that quick.
Yeah, there was a case out of Flagstaff where a mother called because her son was acting erratic. And he seemed like a normal guy, but from the beginning of the conversation, he had his hands in his pocket and he had a coat on. And he was just talking to the officer, and it was a normal conversation. Then towards the end of the conversation, he says, "Hey, well, can I check your pockets?" And he just pointed his pocket up at him and shot him and killed him right there.
Yep.
Without warning.
Yep. They're not going to warn you. They're not your friend. It'd be like you getting in a fight and you say, "Hey, Bill, I know we're gonna fight. Let's get this thing started. I want you to know I'm gonna knee in the nuts and I'm gonna hit you in the face with the right hand." You're not gonna tell them what you're gonna do. You're gonna do it, then tell them what you did. I shot you in the face. What do you think about that, officer? Nobody's ever gonna tell you that I'm gonna kill you. They're just gonna do what they're gonna do. Trust me, it goes from 0 to 10 in a millisecond. You will have an adrenaline dump. Your pupils will constrict. Your peripheral vision will go down to next to nothing. That's why they call it tunnel vision. Your auditory may go up. It may go down. You think you shot 3 rounds. You might have shot 7. It's not that you're lying, but in a situation like that where you have that huge adrenaline dump, rounds start flying, and I've seen people shot in the chest and the same person shot in the back. Well, yeah, that can happen because they're receiving incoming rounds and they turn naturally to get away from it. They spin and the officer's going boom, 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 boom. There's 4 rounds real quick and it, 2 in the chest and 2 in the back. And it looks like, oh yeah, he assassinated. And of course you have these citizens review boards. Half of them can't even spell police or cop, but yet they want to be on a citizens review board to tell you what a horrible job you did. When doctors screw up, they don't call Tim Corbett and say, I want you to sit on this review board and talk about opening up the cranial vault, how the front lobe and this. I don't know anything about that. Why would I be judging you on something that I have probably less than minimal knowledge about that can affect your life? I want people that know what they're doing looking at it and making the questions up and the judgments and all that. There's just too much placating to these citizens groups and people marching and screaming and yelling and all that instead of just doing things fairly. Look if you do something like that and you're wrong and you murder somebody, burn them all the way, burn them. I get it, but don't throw me to the wolves because you want to make a political statement.
I agree. Are you able to talk with us about the Shelly Werner case? and how you
I
guys
can
got
give
that
you,
locked up?
give you some stuff. The Shelly Werner was a 15-year-old girl. She went to a place called Wilt's Supermarket in Mishawaka, Indiana. She was driving a pink Volkswagen. Shelly went there, pick up some items, and she shouldn't have been driving because she was only 15, but big deal, right?
Right.
We're confident that one of the three people that are involved in this homicide, and by the way, they're all three dead. Two of them suffered tremendously from cancer. And I told the local news media when they asked me how I felt about it, and I said, I hope they're in hell in the front row wearing a gasoline overcoat. And of course, they wouldn't print that because that probably wouldn't make somebody feel good. But anyway, Shelly, we're confident, knew one of the guys. In fact, one of the suspects lived about 100 yards away from where she was parked at.
Is that how they targeted her?
I'm sorry?
Is that how they targeted her?
We believe it. Of course, obviously everybody's deceased in this, so we're putting together what we can, common sense wise, and what we found out from other people. I think this was a crime of opportunity. Shelly knew one of these guys, trusted him enough to, let him drive the car, and she was taken over to Osceola, Indiana, and Mishawaka and Osceola, butt up against each other. From where she was taken over to Osceola, or rode with them over to Osceola, is probably, 15 miles maybe. There was a garage over there that these three idiots hung out at. And we believe Shelly was taken over there, and she was a feisty girl. I don't think she put up with too much. And we believe that's where she was killed. One of the guys called his wife, who he had, continually beat her, and she was, she wasn't a wife, she was property to this guy. He called her and said, bring some clothes over to the garage. Don't tell anybody. Keep your mouth shut. So she did as she was told because it was going to be bad for her. She didn't. She said that they were burning some clothes in a burn pit at the garage. And
Jeez.
Shelly's car was found about probably 150 yards away from that garage, parked in a parking lot of a then store. The car was found. It was impounded, processed, all that. About 10 days later, Shelly's body was found out in the county, rural area, partially clothed. And of course, heavy animal infestation. The body was decomposed.
Tough
Such
scene.
a state that, back, in 1980, evidence wasn't quite what it was, wasn't even close to what it is now. So, the case went on, and they had a composite of a guy that they put out. And of course, I don't know if you guys have what we call 4-H fairs. 4-H fair was in town, and, traveling fair people and all that. Well, they put out this composite, and of course, every white dude that had long hair at that time, could have resembled it. So police ran down about 145 people.
Jeez.
People call in, somebody at this corner, they stop and talk to them and get information, on and on and on. Well, obviously 42 years went by, but there were times that, maybe a new lead would come in and that would be looked at, and, nothing came of it. So the family, you get contacted, and hey, we've got some stuff that we're working on. You get a high that, okay, maybe this will finally be resolved, and nothing happens. And then years go by, and another high, and another low, and another high, and another low. And the family, when I contacted one of the family members, they were, they didn't really want to get involved in it because of, how I just described it. And it's, it's okay. If they ever want to ask questions or talk, that's fine. And I was told by one that, we've been told by so many policemen so many things. And I go, I'm not every policeman. We're going to get this. We have an idea. we have a target. So anyway, we talked to one lady and she gave up the information about the burn pit. We were able to find the burn pit. We went through it hoping to find any kind of evidence, a metal button, who knows? We were just hoping to find it, and there was nothing there. Well, we started going through the list of people and going out and beating on doors, and we didn't spend our time Googling and doing all that stuff, just old fashioned knock on your door and talk to you.
That's what we do.
And with
That's our
with
job.
These cases, well, with cold cases, how were you, Patrick, at 18, and how are you, Patrick, now?
Well, when I
Big
was 14, I was a criminal.
Okay. Well, have you changed since you were 14?
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Oh, yeah, because of life's experience. Kids, no kids, divorce, jobs, all sorts of stuff.
Relationships.
So you go out, you talk to people. And we went out to talk to this one lady, and the place where she was staying is kind of run down. And on her door, she had, believe in God, God loves you, a bunch of stuff about God. So obviously, she's into that, right? A believer, whatever. Excuse me. So, and her name was Shelly also. So
Wow.
My partner and I knocked on the door and told her who went, come on in. So we went in and said, look, this is who I am. This is my partner, Jim Campbell. And we are here to talk to you about Shelly Werner's case. And her eyes just went poof. I mean, they just got real big. She goes, and I'm talking the way she's talking now. She goes, I think they told me, I don't remember. They might have. I can't tell you if they really did. And you could just tell that by us being there, her butt ate her underwear. She was nervous, right? So
her worst fears.
Well, yeah, and she wasn't involved in it, but now somebody's asking questions 40, probably 40, 41 years later. So I stepped up close to her, and I said, Shelly, there's two people that know. And her eyes got even bigger, and she went, who? She couldn't even get it out. She sounded like an owl. She's going, who knows? Who knows? And I said, God knows. And I pointed to her head and I pointed to her heart, and I go, he knows what you're thinking. He's in your head and your heart right now. And she goes, who else knows? I go, Shelly. She's sitting in heaven right next to him. But here's the deal. They're on the bench. They sent me and they sent Jim. We're going to solve this case. And you know what's going to happen, Shelly? After all these years, this stuff has been eating at you. You know the answers. God's going to come to you in a dream, and so is Shelly. Trust me, I've done this. And I told her my background. I said, I've talked to a lot of people. I'm not Dr. Phil, but I sure as hell have a PhD in street. I know what's going to happen. You're going to call me. You're going to remember. Like 8 or 10 days later, I'm talking to two people. My phone rings. I recognize the number. And I said, Tim Corbett, and it's Shelly. And she said, Mr. Corbett. I go, whoa, wait a minute. Mr. Corbett died in 77. I'm Tim. Just call me Tim. She goes, I never lied to you. I just didn't tell you everything. They told me the whole story. And she proceeds to lay the story out. And I got these two people sitting here with me, and I'm thinking, man, I better get this on speakerphone in case something happens to her or she backs out or whatever. So she gives me the whole story, and these two people, I mean, these people have never heard anything like this in their life. And it's like, one of those, they had that oh shit moment in their face, right?
Yeah.
And I told Shelly, I said, Shelly, I'm in a building and my phone sucks. Can I just come over? She goes, please. I said, would it be okay if I bring my partner and some equipment? She goes, yeah, I want to tell you everything. I just want to tell you.
That's great.
You were right. You were right, Tim. God and Shelly both came to me. So we went over there, audio and videotaped it, and she laid it out from the beginning to the end. And she had cancer. We knew she had cancer. 1 month later, she was dead.
Oh, man.
Now, the first lady that told us the stuff about burning and all that, she had brain cancer. She likewise died, about 6-8 years ago. But if we'd have been somebody that would have went, you know what? It's like Friday afternoon. I don't want to be doing this. I want to go get a pizza and drink some beer or fish, or, it can wait till next week. Well, wait a minute, I'm on vacation next week. He can wait. That information would have went to her grave with her, and this family wouldn't have an idea. So if you got something to run on, I don't care if you're tired or whatever, get your butt up and go do what needs to be done.
Yeah, and it seems like you got to go do the real work. And it was funny that you mentioned the whole Googling thing, and I was like, that's why I love talking with you, because you're like, I don't need to connect with you on the computer and all that stuff. You're just like, I deal with facts, and I put the pieces together. It sounds like you got to really get out there if you're going to get something accomplished for real. Like you got to actually interview these people. It sounds like you really got to get in there, huh?
Well, yeah, because over a computer, you can be anybody you want. You get on one of these dating websites or whatever, and you think you're dating a 28-year-old hot girl from Russia or whatever, and you're dealing with some fat slob dude in his basement, his tidy whities, when he's not trying to scam you out of your money. He's looking at child porn. So people have to see you. They have to know you're for real. They have to understand that you have a commitment to this, that you really do care, that all the stuff that's said on TV about cops is BS, that you want to find the answers. And look, I need your help. This was somebody's daughter. This was somebody's sister or cousin or whatever. And if they see and they understand and you're for real, that you care and you really want to do the right thing, people do cooperate. And many times on these cases, they think it's already been solved. They go, what are you talking about? We had a guy here, Wayne Cooch, killed 3 people in a family. Well, it was his wife, her kid from another marriage, and another person. And we talked to a guy in Ohio, and he goes, I thought that was solved. No, I can remember when he told me this, and this. And, we smoked his butt. He was on death row, and of course, in Indiana, death row means you get 2 weeks in Disney World. We don't have enough guts to follow through with it. And he ended up coming to the table and saying, "Look, I'll tell you the whole story if you give me life." So, that's what they did to take care of it with the family. And hopefully somebody will toss him off a tier or something. He killed his wife.
When they find out, they might.
Huh?
When they find out, they might.
Well, I don't know. It's a different world. But this poor lady, he duct taped her face, so she can't breathe. Duct taped her hands to her feet, so she was arched. Took about a 10, 12-inch butcher knife, put it all the way through her back, came out her breastbone, struck the floor. We found strike marks. Found a little boy that I think he was about 11 or so, stabbed him in the back of the head. We found him at the bottom of the steps, and then his father came in, and Wayne Cooch shot him in the side of the head, just enough to graze him, and then buried that knife in his chest.
Jeez.
That's welcome to my world.
And that's no way to go for anybody.
No, but you just hope eventually that there's a payback.
Yeah. Have you ever dealt with an unsolved arson murder case? There's some case I want to run by you and see if you kind of met this type of case before. Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
I have not had an unsolved cold case on arson murder. No. Have I worked arson case?
That's a better question.
No, I'm wrong. I am wrong. We had a guy named Lyman Diggins who was killed, and they set him on fire in a car. And that vehicle, the only thing you could really tell was a human. You could see a femur and part of a burned tennis shoe. And remember I told you earlier about the 4 or 5 people that said, F you, I'm not going to tell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2 of the geniuses that said that to me, that I'm not going to tell you anything, are 2 of the guys in that particular case. A guy named Fat Sean Williams and another guy named Hot Rod. I think his last name was Johnson, and they're still sitting in the joint. But
Jeez.
that was an unsolved for, I don't know, maybe half a dozen years or something. We solved it.
Let me give you an overview on this one. It's real short and brief. So this, you know where Flora is in Indiana? Right there by
I've heard
Delphi.
of it, but where's it by?
It's right there. I think it's between Delphi and Kokomo, Delphi and Peru, in that area.
Okay.
Logansport.
Okay.
But it's Kiana. She was an 11-year-old girl. So it was 4 sisters. Kiana 11, Kiara 9, Cariel 7, and Kiani 5. So it was a Monday, November 21st, 2016. The Flora Fire Department, Carroll County EMS, Flora Police, and Carroll County Sheriff's Department responded to a house fire located, and they give the address 103 East Columbia Street, Flora, Indiana. This fire was determined to have been intentionally set, and the investigation of this arson fire continues. How would you even start with a case like that, a cold case like this?
Well, first off, if the case is unsolved, you can't get the information through an APRA or a FOIA because it's a continuing case. It's not, done. Something like that, you just got to start at the beginning. You go out. I would go out to the scene. I would want to see everything for myself. You can look at pictures. You can have people give you descriptions, but until you feel it, taste it, smell it, hear it, or for yourself, I just got to do it like that. I would talk to neighbors. I would talk to relatives. I would talk to anybody that I could. Say, hey, what's your thoughts on this? Who would do this? Well, I know, somebody was dating somebody and they were abusive. And I know at one time that this person said to me that if anything ever happens to me, that Tim Corbett did this, and this is why he used to beat me and he pulled guns on me and blah, blah, blah. So you have things to work on and people to go out and talk to. And there's different ways of skinning that cat. I mean, if you were my prime suspect in that, and I don't have enough to get you for murder, it's pretty certain that you've done other crimes or you're involved in the drug trade, buying or using. So if I can't get you for the murder and arson right now, maybe I can get you on another case. Or I know Patrick has some real good friends, Bill and Larry, and they're in the drug trade. Well, I know they're good friends. I pop Bill and Larry on drugs and go, here's the deal, dude. You're looking at about 30. Now, I want to know about the arson over there. And what I can do is tell the prosecutor that you cooperated, and what the prosecutor and your attorney does, that's entirely up to them. But I want to hear the truth, and don't jack me around on this. And I'm telling you, when you start hearing 30 years of seeing naked dudes in the shower and somebody telling you when you can eat, when you can go to rec, when you can do this, when you can do that, that has a profound effect on a lot of people. And, maybe the one guy might say, hey, screw you, I'm not talking. Okay, there's other idiots out there. You just keep weeding them down. Somebody will eventually tell. That, and that's how you kind of get things done.
Yeah, you're not going to get it done by just looking up a bunch of random stuff, on a computer.
Yeah.
And speculating.
Look, that's all cool stuff. You can get stuff, off the internet that can be helpful. You can track people down. It can be helpful. But talking and doing and hustling and working and wanting to win, and not like winning a football game or a baseball game, but win that you get the answers. You put the puke away in the family. And I hate the word resolution. You have an ending and an answer. That's what you have. Resolution to me is, okay, they found out, who killed my brother. Now I can relax. Everything's done. You're never going to forget that. You are never, ever going to forget that. But at least you have the satisfaction of knowing that the killer's not out going to movies, eating, going on vacation, drinking, having sex, doing drugs, going on with his life. There's a penalty to be paid. And, when you sign up for this job, Nobody said it was going to be easy. There's a penalty to be paid, and sometimes you, the cop, have to pay it. And like I said, you could lose your life, and nobody wants that. You're going to be tired. You're going to be wore out. You're going to be pissed. You're going to get in arguments with prosecutors, because no matter what you do, they always want more. And you see things from a different perspective. You can't quit.
Tim, would you be okay taking some questions? Because we're about to wind down here.
Absolutely.
And while we're kind of letting the questions build up, is there anything that you're currently working on? I know you guys just cleared out that Shelly Werner case, and it's been all over the news, and it looks like getting a lot of attention right now in the true crime community. Anything else on your plate right now? Anything that you could talk about?
Just wrapped up a case in 2007 of a 6-month-old. I think I told you about that. Father killed his baby. He died of an overdose. The mother, who watched him shake the baby, and the baby lived for about 2 weeks afterwards, did absolutely nothing for the baby. So I was putting a case together through my private investigation, my website, coldcaseexperts.com. Through that, and she overdosed and died about 3 weeks ago. So you can still clear the case out because you have enough probable cause to believe a crime has been, is being, or is about to be committed. We're working on a case over in Mishawaka, a 71-year-old lady that was walking her dog, and she was shot and killed. Wow. We have some real good ideas on that.
What's going on with that case? That sounds horrible.
Oh yeah.
Random?
I don't think so. My feel is we got some people circling the drain, and we're closing in on it.
Wow, that sounds awful.
Then I have about 3 or 4 murder cases that I've been hired on that I'm working on. So I've always had something going.
Well, right. Just to kind of paint you a picture, we got about 109 people in here. I have your name, your website, and your phone number. It's I have it kind of scrolling across the bottom of the screen here. Some of the questions here, they're asking if you could take a look into that Florida fire if you have some time. Maybe look at the. They just released a dash cam of the entire incident, and I guess they're asking if you could take a look at it. Maybe next time, if we can get together again, we can get a follow-up opinion, maybe.
Yeah. Does anybody have any paperwork on it? Do they have any information on it that somebody or several people could call me and say, this is what we have, this is what we researched, here's the website, all that kind of stuff. That would be very helpful to me. Would I look at it? Yeah, I'll look at it.
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of people that trying to bring attention to this case. It's just one of those cases that it seems like it could be solvable,
Well, were the kids there alone?
No, there was about, I believe, 5 other adults in there. Most of the adults came running out. The mother couldn't get to the children. The call went out, and law enforcement showed up and tried to rush up to the bedroom and rescue the kids. One of the officers passed out, received burns all over his head and his arms, and then another officer came in and rescued him, ran back inside, and the flames just were out of control. It was too late at that point.
They say how the fire started?
I think they found accelerants outside of the home.
All right. Well, that to me, common sense is going to dictate that wasn't somebody just walking down the street going, geez, I got a can of gas and I think I'll torch this house. That's somebody in one of those adults in that house had an issue with somebody, whether it was, and who knows, could be a litany of things that could have happened to, piss somebody off bad enough to do something like that. So I'm not a profiler by any means, but I'm, also not a professional basketball player. Common sense would tell me that's where you start looking.
Because they don't have to be the targets, right? Anybody in that home could have been a potential target.
Oh, absolutely. But that, it's one thing if I don't like you, and I'm trying to get to you and I want to kill you and you want to kill me, you wait. I just wait until you make a mistake and, do whatever I'm going to do, or vice versa. But when you have somebody that has an issue like this, and it's to such a level that they hate you so bad they don't care who else goes, including children. That's not, you may be mad because I kicked over your garbage can. That's a serious hatred. I'll bet you, I would just about bet you, somebody out of those adults has a real good idea.
You think so?
Yeah, that's where I would go.
That's interesting to hear your perspective on all this. It's like you get your hands like dirty, like you get right in there. Seems like you have
Well,
to.
I mean, look, I'm no genius by any means, but doesn't it make sense that somebody would have a vendetta or a hatred bad enough? One of the adults, were they in the house because they were going through a divorce? Was a boyfriend after them? Was it a drug house? And people got pissed off because they got ripped off. Somebody ripped somebody off, and now it's a payback. Excuse me. There's so many, different things that could happen. Excuse me, my
Bless
God.
you. Bless you.
Thank you. That those are things common sense wise that you look at, and then if you have to extrapolate out from that, then you do. But that just doesn't ring to me of being somebody just walking down the street and, God, it's a nice green house there, I think I'll torch it. Doesn't make sense.
We have another gentleman that we've been working with here on the social media platform on YouTube. He's a retired law enforcement. His name is Ruckus Rocks. Looks like he's been working on the Florida case. He said here in the chat that he's going to reach out to you maybe tomorrow at some point. So
absolutely, give my telephone number.
Yep, it's right here on the screen. I have it scrolling right across the bottom here.
Tell him to do me a favor, though. Don't call me at 6 o'clock in the morning and sound like some good-looking girl and get me cut up from this beautiful woman that I'm married to. I don't want her beating my head in or anything.
Yeah, well, Ruckus is pretty good looking, though. He's a looker. How do you want to leave us today? This has been a great conversation. Hopefully we can do it again and keep talking about some of these cases and get your opinion. But what would you like to leave us with? It's been a great conversation.
I got to tell you, and I don't want to, mom apple pie and Chevrolet and all that, but I got to tell you, I wish I had another 48 years. I really do. It's an honor and a privilege, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart to be able to do this. And, I told my wife a couple of weeks ago, I said, I don't know, maybe this will sound stupid or whatever, I don't know. But, you sit back, and I'm going to be 69 years old, which is just a number to me. I'm still 18 in my head. I probably act like 4, but that's okay. Reflecting, you look back at your life and you think how things are. And, you think about, okay, I'm coming to the end of my life. Who knows, tomorrow, 10 years, 20 years, I don't know. But you think, okay, you want to keep on going because, you love your family, you love your kids, you love your grandkids. But I got to tell you, to be able to do this job, the thought of me dying and not being able to continue on and help people with these cases, I almost feel like we all got to die, right? I get that. But I feel like I'd be cheating people. And maybe that sounds weird, but I enjoy helping. I enjoy doing the cases. Do I get, pissed off at some of the dumb stuff people say about cops? Absolutely. And I had I'll tell you that. But anyway, I just feel like I'd be letting people down. But, I got to go. I know that. But, I had a lady today in court. They had a separation of witnesses, and there's 3 of us talking. We're talking about kids. We're talking about fishing. And this lady, her kid's the guy that's trying to get out on a post-conviction release. She looks over, asks, of course, she's got her entourage of, about 6 or 8 turds that she brought in with her. And she looks over at us. She goes, "There's a separation of witnesses. You guys can't talk." So the policeman that I'm with, he can't talk. He can't say anything. The prosecutor can't say anything. So I felt a vein pop in my head. And I said, are you a F? Of course, I used the bomb. Are you an effing attorney? She goes, no. And I go, then leave us the, F alone. Because I thought, who do you think you are? Who do you think you're talking to? You're just going to come over here and say stuff like that. We're all supposed to be, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, that you feel like that. You're not going to talk to me like I'm a punk and get away with it. And I'm old school. I'll be honest with all your viewers. I'm a freaking dinosaur. I get it. But apparently a pretty effective dinosaur.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And it's proven.
Well, open up my cage, let me out. You want to put me back? That's cool. I don't care.
Well, I'm going to be in touch with you if that's okay. And if you want, we can probably try to do this again. If you got anything you want to talk about, or if you're okay with this platform and the way we've kind of were talking about the cold case and things like that. If you're cool to do that again, I would like to.
I'll absolutely do it. I just hope your viewers aren't offended or upset. I just tell it the way it is, and people understand that. And you're talking about murders, you're talking about death. It's ugly. There's ugly things said. There's ugly things seen and done. And if people know something, that's why I gave you that number. If your viewers want to call me up tomorrow and say, you're the biggest a-hole I've ever heard, hey, that's your opinion. Great. If you got a question, call me and ask me. If I can't talk right then, I'll call you back. That's the way you get stuff done, is talking. So don't be afraid to call me.
I really appreciate your time.
You know what? This is nothing compared to what we do. So it's, again, honor and privilege to be a cop and be able to do this. And anytime you want me to be on the show, let me know. And if you would, you get any people talking about it, good or bad, please let me know. And I'll do what I can for you.
All right. I really appreciate it. I'll be in touch with you. I'll give you some feedback. I'll let you know what I'm hearing from my subscribers and my members, and we'll put something together here real soon. I really like doing this with you, man. It's very interesting just listening to you. I can just hear it in your voice, and it's interesting to hear how you're approaching these cases. And I think it's going to help us and all of us who are in this true crime genre. And we try to, we're armchair sleuths, and you're really teaching us a lot. And I feel like people in general are kind of oblivious to kind of like the dangers that are around them,
Well, look, you gotta pay attention to where you're at. There is just pure evil out there. Some people, oh geez, I don't believe. There are people that would cut your head off, stick it in a camera bag, and go eat a pizza. They don't care. You can't trust. You have to what if. You have to pay attention. You have to be on your A game, and just understand, viewers, it's okay to live. It's okay to survive. If you're attacked, fight, and it's okay to survive.
You have any advice for the women in the chat?
Oh, I've trained over 3,000 women in personal self-defense and rape prevention, and I teach very brutal things. You're not going to have any eyes. It's just the way it is. And I've had a couple people, I don't know if I could do that. So I'm trying to rape you. I have AIDS. Maybe you won't die today. You'll die 6 months from now, 10 years from now. You would let me do that? Well, I just don't think I could put somebody's eyes out. You have kids? Yes. What do you have? I got an 11-year-old girl. Oh, then I'll go like this. Oh, I like 11-year-old girls. And I'm telling you what, the most dangerous thing in the world is mama's bear.
Mm-hmm.
You see these women go from, I don't think I could poke my fingers through your eyes. They go from that to making Lorena Bobbitt look like a punk. They will rip your junk up, juggle it running down the street, tear your eyeballs out and eat them. It's in you. It's okay to survive. It's okay to live.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you again, Tim Corbett, Cold Case Expert, coldcaseexperts.com. And if it's okay, I'll probably give you a call here in a day or two and see what you got going on. Not at 6 in the morning either.
Yeah, not talking like a girl, okay?
I appreciate your time, Tim.
Thank you. Thanks, your viewers.
All right. Have a great night. Bye.
See you.
Wow. Was that awesome or was that awesome? Shout out to Tim Corbett. Give him a call. He's his door is open. This one here in the center is Lisa Bowers. That is a cold case that eventually I'm going to see if Tim can take a look at. It's out of Indiana. She was killed with a crossbow. They found her with an arrow in her chest just before she was going to head out on a vacation. That case is important to me. The one there down at the bottom right is Shelly Werner. That's the cold case that Mr. Corbett just solved or helped resolve there. And the picture right above the black and white image of Shelly is Jordan Sofer. That's a case that I've been trying to gather information on for some time. So these cases here are the ones that I want to kind of run by him because he's in Indiana. He has access to, these more information, or if he needs to travel, or if he takes an interest in any of them. And if you guys want to give me any feedback on it when I reach out to him, or if you want to give him a call yourself. But that's all the time I have. It is dinner time. And we will do this again. If you could hit the like button on the way out, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Thanks again. Good night.